Okay, the tub is sunk, and the other thing I did, again, I cut my hose to length, and I've kind of hid the hose behind the bucket without kinking it. I also cut my outflow hose a little shorter. I think I'm going to come and cut it another 2 or 3 inches. I'm going to have to build some rock up here and hide this. I even found some scrap rock to begin filling that in, and what I'll do is I'll just go buy some more of these landscape rocks and go all the way around to kind of match the rest of it, so that'll all be hidden eventually. But again, this is not my permanent power, but we're going to plug it in and see if any of this stuff works. Again, I think my basket is going to want to rise, so I'm going to put a little weight on the basket. And so here comes the water level. I think that's going to be just good, as long as that hose hasn't restricted the outflow. So after this, I've got to put my filtration in. I'm thinking about using some lava rock to hold down the weight of the basket, and then I'll put all those other pads that I showed you on top of that. And we may call this good. I'll build some rock up and hide that tubing. And let's see, so you can see the water is rising, and it's about 3 or 4 inches away. So again, this was, I think, about a 620 gallons per hour pump. Enough? Not enough? I guess we'll find out in just a few seconds. And you can again see some of the debris in the water swirling. So I think I'm going to be happy with this. Again, we'll take care of the tube. Here comes water, and it looks like obviously we are flowing down into the pond. So that is cool. Let me move this hose, because I'll have to, obviously that would kind of, I guess, if you will, shoot there. But the question is the tub going to overflow? And so let's just watch it for a minute. And it looks like it's maintaining that water level. Again, some guys have put 2 outflows on the top. That's why I off-centered this, in case I want to put another one over there if we ever have overflow issues. But I would put a rock on that, put my filtration stuff in, and we're going to see how that works for a day or 2 or 3. I just noticed that I've got a little leak out of the bottom of that gasket right there. So I'm probably going to have to put some sealant around there, make sure that's tight. That's dripping quite a bit. Obviously that would lower the pond level, and we don't want that. I had to bring out the heavy machinery there, that pipe wrench, and all I did was tighten that gasket, and I did test it, so I think that that's going to work. I don't know if you remember or not, but again, here's my basket and my filtration method and all that stuff, or whatever you want to call it. Do you remember when I said I wasn't going to glue this in? That's a perfect example of why you don't want to glue that in, so that if you ever have to pull it out and put it back in. So that seems like that's going to work really well. Okay, it's time for filtration. Again, we had the black basket was floating when the water came up, so I went and got some red lava rock, and I've already pulled. If you look in here, you can see that I've poured, just enough red lava rock in there to keep the basket down, so that'll keep the basket from floating. People say that red lava rock, because of the pores, all the different pores within the red lava rock, that is good where bacteria will grow. And then again, I said I didn't have any idea what I was doing when I started this project, and I still don't, but I did get a piece of filter pad. This is like that swamp cooler pad, and what I did is I just cut a gap in there so that it can go around my pipe. And again, just from watching online, I think people just kind of stuff this in there. And so there's the first pad, and then now my various and sundry other little goodies over here that people said to use for media. So I'm going to just start filling the bucket with these things. Again, these were like from the dollar store, so we'll fill those up. And I guess, again, that's the poor man's version of the bio balls, and this is where the bacteria supposedly will grow. And so fill those up like so. I don't know if I have enough. Something else that somebody said was one of the swim noodles, and so we cut that into 2 and 3 inch little pieces, and so we'll fill the swim noodles up. Again, just whatever I could find, I pretty much just threw in there. I don't know if that's enough filtration. I found this little thing. It's got sponges on one side and scrub pads on the other. So again, from the dollar store, so we might as well throw some of those in there. kind of feel like we're making soup or whatever and just throwing all the ingredients in. So surely between all that, we'll be able to filter some media. Lastly, again, I found some of these pads. I was trying to get more of these, but we'll just kind of pack that in there like that as well and let the water filter through there. I don't know. I'd love to hear comments if I'm doing this right, wrong, or indifferent. And then what I thought I'd do for my topper, just to kind of make a filter sandwich, this came in a big sheet, so I had just enough left. And so I'm going to put that on top. And so if you think about it, we've got water coming in the bottom, red lava rock, some spongy things, and some Brillo pad things, and a noodle, and then we'll top it like that, and we are going to plug it in and have a filter. And I can already see that it looks like, you see how the water's rising, this pad is wanting to float, so I guess all my sponge material and stuff wants to float. So what I may do, rather than put some more red lava rock on here, if I ever want to clean this out, I'll probably maybe just, grab a piece of, one little pond rock here and maybe put that on one side to hold it down. And then here's another, yeah, you see how all all my stuff wants to be floating away. So it looks like I need, and that's not even a big enough rock. So I better get a block and some rocks to hold. That's what I was afraid of. I was afraid that stuff was all going to want to float away. So, okay, looks like now we got enough weight in there. And so we are filtering. I replaced some of my decorative rock with some old concrete that I had laying around. Also topped off my pond. The pump is not on right now, but now all of a sudden I started having a backflow problem. In other words, the tub was overflowing. I hope it's because the tube is underneath the water, so I'm going to cut the tube off and we'll see what happens. Okay, that's what it appeared to be. I've plugged the pump back in and again shortened the hose so that the hose is not under the water. And you can see now that it is flowing just right, and it looks like the water level at the top of the filter is remaining level. I'm going to go about hiding the hose now and dressing up the tub. We're getting close to the finished product. I've had the filter on for about an hour and a half or so now. It's been performing beautifully. So what I have done is I've begun filling in with rocks to match the rest of the landscape. And I wanted to show you one thing here. I found at Lowe's, that is a GFI outlet. It's got 4 plugs in there, and so I've kind of hidden that in the rocks there. It's got a circuit protector in case it were to get wet, it would just trip. And so I haven't hidden this yet, so I'm going to dig this under and hide this over here to my electricity. So my filter is still on temporary power, but that's going to be ready to be fixed very shortly. And again, kind of been able to hide stuff with the front, and it looks like it's going to turn out pretty well. This has been working for about 2 hours now while I built my wall. Here comes the finishing touch. I've got one rock that is going to fit in right there, and my topper. And if you step back, you can see that everything blends in nicely with the rest of the pond. Maybe one little rock in here, but other than that, we are filtering. Woohoo!